Alright, so I'm going to talk about the discussion and how to structure your discussion. Alright, so there's some key questions. The first question is, why did the participants' scores change, and what physiological changes took place in the body and why? Okay, so I'll answer that question first. So here I put Lee's scores changed from 7, so that's before exercise, to 13. Alex's scores changed from 15, which is before exercise, and then this is during exercise, to 17, and Mark's scores changed from. So I've talked about each of the score increases. I've then gone, it's evident that all participants' scores have increased due to exercise, so I've made, it's quite clear that they've all increased. If they haven't, then you need to make comment on that. And then I've talked about why they've increased. So the physiological changes in the body that have taken place are that the muscles have increased their flexibility during exercise. Okay, and then I've said why. This is because the temperature of the muscles has increased, because there has been a greater blood flow to the working muscles. So if you're working those muscles, it means more blood goes to them. When blood flows to the working muscles, it increases the temperature inside the muscles, which means they can become sorry, there's an error there, become more pliable or flexible. As temperature increases during exercise, ligaments become more pliable, meaning that our participants' flexibility is increased. Okay, so I've looked at the physiological reasons. The next question, so I've answered that first question, that's that done. I'll turn that red because I know I've done it. The next question is, which participant had the greatest change and why? Consider the sports they play and the exercise they do. So I put Alex experienced the greatest change in his scores. This is because he exercises regularly and often stretches. This means his muscles are used to being stretched and therefore his flexibility is greater. So I know I've done that one. I haven't done this one, but you can think about this. Which participant had the smallest change and why? Consider the sports they play and the exercise they do. So I might say that Mark had the smallest change in flexibility, and that's because actually Mark doesn't play sport that often. He doesn't warm up effectively when he does play sport, so therefore his muscles are restricted and not as pliable because he's not stretching them regularly. Therefore, they're not used to that type of movement. If Mark was to play more sport and do more stretching, that would have a positive impact on his flexibility. Something along the lines of that. And that's your discussion done.